Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the semi-final match here in the Open Division. Ellipsis from Melbourne playing the Wellington Wildcats from New Zealand. My name is Daniel Clinton and I'm joined by the superb Simon Talbot.
Thank you, Daniel. And quite a lineup we've got here. We've got both these teams heading to the World Ultimate Club Championships later this year. So Ellipsis is earning an Australian bid and Wildcats is the top-ranked New Zealand team. So we take a look at the squads. For Ellipsis Men, obviously the player we want to keep our eyes on here, 85 Tom Tullett and 25 Rob Andrews, the Australian representative teammates. Obviously a lot of connections together. Keep an eye on Matt Daly as well, number 6. He's been a key receiver for them all season. Expect him to be on the end of a few as we go throughout this game.
And two of the New Zealanders that got mentioned in the pre-broadcast, Nick Whitlock coming across to play with Ellipsis, and also Liam Haberfield. So potentially some insider knowledge. The Ultimate community is a tight-knit community, especially even more so in New Zealand. As we turn to the Wellington Wildcats and their team list, Simon, tell us a little bit about them.
Well, again, it's more or less an all-star New Zealand team. Wildcats have been the dominant club in New Zealand for some time. We'll keep an eye on number 21, Joe Panaya. Number 14, Lachlan Robertson, their captain as well. And also Samuel Lenartis can be a bit of a damaging player when he needs to be, so expect him to make a couple of big plays. It's a semi-final, so teams will just absolutely go for it. No sort of holding back, smart rotations, things like that.
Well, it's win or go home at this stage. Flights back to Melbourne or to Wellington. It's a long way home for both these teams. They've come here to New South Wales, to Nelson Bay, and they can win themselves a place in the national final for the Australian Ultimate Championships of 2022.
Ellipsis there in the white jerseys with the 3 green dots, which has become synonymous. That symbol has become synonymous with dominance in Australian Ultimate in the last couple of years, and Wildcats in the black and pink jerseys. As the siren goes to indicate the start of the game clock. Of course, it's 100-minute slots here. Game to 15, must score the last goal to win. There's no running the clock down in Ultimate. Of course, if we get to 100 minutes before either team gets to 15, that score target will get adjusted. But I don't think we've seen any games go to 100 minutes this time.
No, with these giant time slots, Simon, normally most of the games in Ultimate are played in an 80-minute time slot. Here at Nationals, it's 100 minutes, so plenty of time to get out there and win it. You can fall behind early and come back.
Yeah. In cooler weather, teams tend to not sort of mess around. It's only in the hotter weather we tend to take every break we can. So it's relatively cool. I'd say it's sort of 17, 18 degrees here in Nelson Bay. Obviously been a lot of rain so far today, so feel very damp, very soft underfoot. So,
and Furs to Paul. He gets us underway. Wellington Wildcats, Melbourne Ellipsis. The semi-final in the Open Division. And Max Halden will go to Tom Tullett. Tullett back to Halden. Wildcats are going to sit off in a zone. Slow down this offense. Make them throw a few passes. Matthews Hunter with an outside in to Tullett.
Whitlock's gone deep.
Tullett back to Matthews Hunter. Tullett more than happy to play a bit of catch. Move some things around and have a good look at this defense. Rob Andrews. Tullett. Max Howden. Tullett spending plenty of time on the disc, puzzling this defense out, just looking at the positions of the defenders, trying to work out where can he go with this, where is the soft spots in the zone.
Keep half your eye on Ollie Lockton here in the white hat centre screen.
Howden. Probably well known to be one of the best zone offense players in the country. Tullett. Whitlock comes all the way back for his first touch of the game. And there's Lofnan's first touch of the game. Matthews Hunter. Powley is going to cross the field. Ellipsis working their way steadily down the field. Matthews Hunter gives that a rip. Tullett catches on the near sideline and then throws a push pass back to Lofnan. Tullett, Matthews Hunter. They get around the edge of the zone through Palais to Laird in the middle. Wildcats happy to just sit with this zone, making Ellipsis throw a lot of passes, banking on percentages more than direct pressure on the disc. Halden tries to pivot through. Palais with the look away. Andrews. Palais. Andrews again, combining with Toulette.
Wildcats happy to give up these lateral throws, so Ellipsis are really just, as they take those lateral throws, really creeping a metre or two forward at a time as they go back and forth.
Oh, that's a huge attempt there. Halden comes up with it. Strong hands, and then Andrews is going to throw a massive crossfield hammer to Whitlock. The big man brings it down. Ellipsis just waiting.
And that's what it was going to take. The first big play, so the first big throw, the first big bid was what was going to break that point open. As we saw the incoming layout there.
Tony Clark getting off his feet. Getting after it.
Yeah, but then Halden was able to, that's where they reacted, moved straight forward after that, where they knew they had the numbers.
Okay, so Ellipsis score their offensive possession. They hold serve. It will be the Wildcats to run left to right. Right to left, rather. And score in the left-hand end zone.
Probably nothing for the highlight reel in that point, but, you know, it's early days. These teams haven't faced each other ever, maybe. They may have crossed paths a few years ago, but so these first couple of points will just be filling each other out. So who does what? Who's the key player? What's the positions?
And with the Ellipsis Opens team being a relatively new evolution of the Ellipsis club, and the Wildcats not having been able to come to Australia in the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So a low pull there by Copeland, sporting the singlet. And now the Wildcats will work. Robertson throws one in the direction of McLaurin. It bounces off his hands. Broughton gathers the scraps. It goes back to Robertson. There's a call down the field.
Most of the Wildcats' cuts are going to come from left of screen, so towards the back of their formation, attacking either side of the what we call throwing lanes, either side of that formation there.
So Robertson goes around. It's a high one. It goes over the top. Peter Ely gets the block, and the first turn of the game goes the way of Ellipsis. John McNaughton sporting the green and white. High throw that's gathered pretty well by Prendergast. Copeland goes around the edge to Peter Ely. And Ely will go crossfield. That's ambitious. Broughton goes big.
Oh.
It's no good. Ellipsis get the first break of the game.
It's a hallmark of Ellipsis offense is the precision throwing. Usually you're telling you players don't throw it too close to the sideline because you get too great a margin for error. But Ellipsis, they introduced a more innovative style last year where they did attack those sidelines and go, you know what, we are good throwers. Let's go where the defense doesn't expect us to. And we saw that hammer earlier on. And then this throw here from Ely, he's aiming to get it right in that corner on that sideline. That's where he wants it to land, and Howard's there just waiting for it.
Josh Howard with goal. Ellipsis, an early break in this game to go up 2-0. Their defense will stay on the field. The Wildcats offense will stay on the field.
Josh Broughton did very well to make a play of that. He realised, as soon as he saw Ely's wind up, he realised he was out of position, so had to just take off. And
well, it was help defense there by Broughton, who drifted off the stack to try and cover the fat side cut from Howard.
Trying to track a disc over your shoulder while you're running full tilt is one of the more difficult things to do in this sport, and to do that and have a clean play at it takes a lot of skill.
So McNaughton, Walpole, and the Wildcats will go on offense. Furs goes to Broughton, and then Broughton goes to Robertson. There's a call in the stack, and looks to be a pick.
Again, watch for the cuts to come from the right of that formation. So Michael McAdam there is probably going to be the initial move, and then look for number 17, Tyler Hogg, after him.
Hogg, quite the unit. Standing well over 6 foot in the old. Robertson will go to Broughton down the line. Broughton catches it. The momentum isn't there. They can't continue the flow down the field, so they reset and go back through the middle. Robertson, it's high again, but will it get made up? It does. A little bit streaky by the Wildcats. Daniel Aldridge catching the goal.
2 throws we've seen go up over the intended receiver from Wildcats. I just wonder if they need to adjust and try and hit more in that hitbox, the target, hit the chest of their receiver, rather than just float it up for those aerial ones.
Well, a second turnover from a miscued throw would have been problematic, shall we say.
Yep.
Aldridge with great awareness to make up that ground there.
Yeah, good low release there, but just angled it too high. But as always, if you've been watching this broadcast all weekend, you've heard me say it a number of times. You know, if you don't go for everything, you don't know what you can get. So good for Aldridge to chase it down, not to give up on that play. So 2-1 the score to Ellipsis, 9 minutes in. Again, we're still in this early phase of the game. They're really just feeling each other out.
And Sheridan will pull. That's a nice pull that will turn a corner and land in bounds. Loughnan. To let all the way out to Matthews Hunter. And again, we're going to see a zone from the Wildcats. Toulette is going to have to do a lot there. He saves it and keeps them on offense. Loughnan. Toulette. Matthews Hunter. There's nothing around the edge though.
Again, just giving up these lateral passes. Not wasting too much defensive effort chasing those backwards and sideways that are, you know, almost certainly completions anyway. That's the danger throw. That's the one they want to prevent.
And Loughnan just takes a moment to settle. Whitlock is a long way down the field, is threatening deep. James Crosby having no option to respect him as the deep in the zone, the deep defender. The safety over the top. Matthews Hunter to let. They've thrown some 30 passes and gone nowhere at the moment, has Ellipsis, but you don't really worry for them because they seem quite comfortable. Halden finds it over the top to Loughnan.
You can see Whitlock's sort of drifted both in then out again, so once they get to halfway, they do need those deep targets to really spread out that off defense, sorry.
Loughnan. And Rob Andrews playing a little bit of hopscotch.
Keep your eyes on Powley, top of screen.
And now Whitlock has done a bit of work in the backfield. Just trying to create something. Loughnan, they're close. Andrews. Toulette is going to have a big jump. He's a little bit short. He throws the push pass. Does Tom Toulette. The cupcake likes it. And it's Ollie Loughnan who catches the score.
So what Ben Powley was doing there that I wanted the viewer to look at is he was just attracting attention of defense to draw them away from that corner. So just camping, not moving, just camping there going, like, as soon as you run away from me, I'm going to be free. So it forced the defenders to really sort of pay attention to him and open up that open space.
So, Amy Chang joins us from the sidelines for this game.
Thanks, Daniel. I have a little bit of insight from Nick Parnu, the coach of the Wildcats, as to why the Wildcats' throws are staying up a little higher than they should be. And that's because he says that the Australian climate is more warm and more humid than the Kiwis are used to.
Okay, fair enough from Nick Parnu, who has plenty of international experience.
That's far more scientific than I've ever thought about it. But the minute Amy said that, I thought, you know what, she's bang on. Of course, the disc, only 175 grams in weight, and so susceptible to, I guess, different air pressure.
New Zealand as a country far more southerly than Nelson Bay is. So the Wildcats, their offense, their turn. Broughton, out to Robertson. McLaurin finds some space underneath. Robertson now is going to go with a huck. That looks pretty good. Panaya for the score. That's a goal. The Wildcats do it easily.
Of course, the Ellipsis defence, they were set up to basically anticipate the cuts coming from the back of the formation towards the disc, and Panaya just went out. No one followed him, so kept going. He had, yeah, you can see, I think it was Chris Waller there who was anticipating the movement to come back towards the disc, and Panaya just had that awareness to go, well, if no one's on me, I'm going to go catch a goal.
Some route one offense. Fastest way to score a point is just to throw it to the end zone.
Yeah, it's a very simple game, ultimate. Just got to catch it inside the end zone 15 times.
Simple to understand, hard to master, as all the best games are.
So still a bit of an arm wrestle here. I mean, we've seen one break, but it's only a 1-goal margin. That said, Ellipsis are receiving this disc, so they can get the offensive hold here, keep that 1 to 2 goal advantage.
Sheridan again with that pull that comes to this near sideways and the near sideline, and then takes a turn.
Split stack. Palais gone.
Oh, Andrews is going to go to Whitlock in the area. It's Whitlock that can't go over the top. He did his best.
James Crosby there with a huge play on that one. He just kept that position on that low side of the disc flight, so that if it dropped short, which it did, was to his advantage.
2-on-1, he had to make the play, and he did Crosby. So the Wildcats get the turn, and this is to bring them back, the 2-goal deficit that they're down at the moment. Van Turnout goes back to the middle.
Wildcats very spread out at the moment, which is good.
Crosby. Bit of a wobbler out of the hand. The Wildcats settle into a vertical. The break back to Crosby. And Crosby's going to go.
Oh, no.
That's a no from us in the box. Loughnan. After Matthews Hunter caught it. Whitlock. Powley goes out, and Whitlock is going to show what he's got. Whitlock trying to drop it in the bucket. Van Turnout. He's going to cut off a cut.
Foul called immediately.
Van Turnout didn't like it at all. And called the foul before he landed.
Yeah, I mean, definitely got his arm. Not intentionally, of course, but if we get a closer look at this, we can see him go early. I mean, did get the disc first. That's not a justification for it, though, but definitely got the swipe on Palais' arm.
I thought I had a hand on the disc, and then as you went to make a play, it like hit my hand as I had the disc.
Right.
So I think I had the catch, but you making the contact in the air knocked my hand away, so I couldn't make the catch.
I honestly thought I got all disc. But I'm sorry, I don't think I made contact with your hand. I thought I went disc and then hand.
Yep. Yeah, I definitely got contact on my hand. I thought it was.
I think is that just I'm going to contest that. Yeah.
Cool. Right. Have you asked about the before or after?
I think he's saying that he
roll with that.
Yeah, so it was Lockie was before.
Yeah, he thinks I stripped him. Or
so it sounds like it's probably.
That's a minute. Yep.
Okay, so they figure it out. Powley and Van Turnout just discussing the play and figuring out that the resolution will be a contested foul, so it will go back to Whitlock.
And even on our slow motion replay, it didn't appear obvious. So, like when we're looking at, on a big screen slow motion replay and can't quite work it out, you can't expect the players to have the clear.
And Van Turnout had to do a lot there to make up the ground. I thought Whitlock had dropped it in the bucket, but Van Turnout made it a really good play. Andrews gets underneath. Whitlock goes up the line. Toulette will get the reset. And then out to Loughnan, who's cut 40 metres for a pass that went sideways. Whitlock in a lot of space.
They're worried about Whitlock going deep. That's why they're giving him easy cuts underneath.
Toulette. Loughnan gets up the line. Andrews turns around on the edge of the end zone. Ellipsis to maintain their 2-goal margin. Toulette comes back. He'll probably be the goal thrower if he's going to have a choice. He's going to throw it out in front of Andrews. Andrews with options at the back of the end zone, trying to open up space or Ellipsis. They're in a spread offense when it comes to this end zone set. Howden, they're still on the doorstep. They've thrown 15 passes now. Howden breaks. Max Howden throws it to Ben Palais for the goal. Ellipsis go up by 2 again.
Oh, how can we take the man seriously? But he's exceptionally smart player, Palais, just with his positioning. What we see with that offense, end zone offense there from Ellipsis, is put their players right in the extremities of the boundary, basically challenging the defense to go, look, step away from us and guard that middle space. And we've got throwers who can hit us directly. And so the swing back and forth just makes it ever so more tempting for the defense to close in on that middle space. And we did see that eventually. Howden had it right on the doorstep. And then there was some, so I think Howden gets it right here. Then, yeah, there's that bid on that first look. And then Palais to shove it across for that easy space. So it's a test, really a test of wills, a test of patience between the offense and defense here. It just takes one, it's not even an error, just one critical just overplay, I guess you'd say, overcommitment, and bang, just pounce on that opportunity.
Well, both teams are going to have their opportunities at the moment. Ellipsis have taken full advantage of theirs. Punching in 2 breaks. Oh, there's going to be a big flick. He's going to McLaurin down the field. Tillett has to come. Tillett goes hard. There's going to be no call. Tom Tillett makes a huge layout block down the stretch.
Great contest. Tillett making the big play at that one, but it'll be Rob Swan picking up the disc because we see a bit of a tussle there between Flavel and Hogg.
Flavel, McNaughton, Ely, out of the horizontal. Oh, it's just clunked off the hands of Angus Wicks. And he knows it. Well, to go up 3 breaks, that would have been huge. Furs brings it in, goes to Robertson. There's Robertson, rather. Up the line he goes. And then he's going to throw the goal, the easy one. What could have been for Ellipsis and Ellipsis fans. Instead goes the other way. It's a goal.
Fantastic work by Wildcats to earn that one back. It's still obviously an advantage to Ellipsis, but we've seen Ellipsis go through a number of close games this tournament. In pool play against crosstown rivals Hot Chili, it was 15-13. In the quarterfinal, we saw Sublime even having the lead till very late in the game. So Ellipsis we haven't seen Ellipsis run away with too many games. It's really just about controlling the tempo of the game right until those last maybe 10, 15 minutes, those last half a dozen goals, before they will really stamp themselves on. At the moment, they're running through every player on the field. But towards the end of the game, we'll see, you know, the top line of like Tullett, Andrews, Peter Ely play almost every point. We'll probably see it similar from Wildcats as well. So still running at about 3 minutes per goal at the moment, which is a quick old pace, you know, maybe time to get 1 or 2 turns in. So I think we'll comfortably see a team get to 15 before we get to 100 minutes. So you don't want to pray this game doesn't get out of your hands too quickly as either team's coach.
That's Campbell Nauman pulling. The Moose, they call him.
All Ellipsis cutters playing
Whitlock
relatively close to the disc.
Whitlock with a huge gainer. And Whitlock is going to go to Ollie Lofton. It's a fat side throw. Crosby has to go. Crosby does. Ollie goes over the top of him. Does Lofton.
Oh, no.
And Matthews Hunter.
Oh, no.
It's a calamity. Matthews Hunter has been sniped by the Nelson Bay Mud.
I mean, the power he puts in that changed the direction. He didn't slip. He just pushed down and the earth moved.
was a good fat side throw to the advantage of Loughnan. And then that should have been a goal, and Matthews Hunter gets brought down by the conditions.
Wildcats have got these long shots well scouted by Ellipsis, because we've seen a lot of the curve from sort of bottom to top of the screen. You can see the the Wildcats defenders taking that front position virtually immediately on all those contests.
Nauman goes back to the middle of the field. The Wildcats are going to work out of a vertical. A bit of dominator movement, and then there's the hug by Sheridan. He's going to test Powley. Crosby doesn't go very well, and Matthews Hunter comes sailing in to get a high block and catch that one before there could have been any other Wildcats in the area. Loughnan. Oh, he gets hand blocked on the mark. That's a massive point block right there.
That's a rarity.
Wildcats are lifting into the game, and Ellipsis are getting sucked in at the moment.
Huge possession, this one.
Hammond, the enormous point block.
Patterson won out in the end zone with Howden.
The reset out to Panaya and his near sideline. That was the block getter, Hammond. Goes back to Panaya. Now to Sheridan. Panaya. Going to get a good look at it. Sheridan goes up the line. Panaya's going to break. Around the edge they go. Can they get there? There's the little flip for the goal. Wildcats, they bring it back to fours.
That movement across the front of the end zone, the lateral throws and those cuts, that's going to be the trick to beating Ellipsis here, is they do very well at the split coverage. They're covering both sides of that formation and running a lot of like switches and handoffs and things like that. So to take advantage around that, you need to move the disc quickly. You can't sort of make it too floaty or too much as we see that grab there from Loughnan, and then Matthews Hunter, oh, he'll be ruining that. Should have put the long studs in today, but then he earns it back a couple of passes later. With a huge, fantastic grab. And Loughnan, he just gets wide on his backhand. It's not wide enough, evidently.
Hammond doing enough to cover the throwing lane, get a hand on it and send it to OB.
Fantastic sort of reaction there from Patterson to start heading out to this low side, realise that two defenders were going, so just stop and turn back the other way. So 4-all the score now. We're back at evens.
Furs. Outside in. Loughnan. To let. Andrews in space. For the first time this game, the Wildcats go with a match offense. Oh, that's a face ball to Ollie Loughnan.
Generating a lot of double coverage here.
Andrews to the advantage of Tillett. Tillett wants in. He'll break to Loughnan. And Loughnan. For a moment he tried something ambitious and audacious. Desires to go to the safer option. Andrews looking for Matthews Hunter. Will go back to Tillett. Tillett will give go with Ollie Loughnan. And Tillett then will go to the fat side to Whitlock, who's going to have to do a bit. Whitlock, the big man. Hard to teach tall and hard to stop tall.
I don't know why I doubted that. As soon as I saw a throw come out of the hand, I thought, gee, I do not know. But he's put enough angle on it just to drop it in 2 or 3 metres in from the back line. And that double coverage defence, you could see as the point went on, the way to defeat that double coverage defence is to never be standing still. Force the defender's attention to be, too many places at once, and then you'll eventually find space. So you can see there was going to be a Wildcats defender go with the deep cut, but turned around and then realised the throw was up, and it's just the constant movement from everyone. You'll rarely see Ellipsis cutters standing still playing against the match coverage. against that top angled throw as well. We've seen a couple going the other way. That's the first one we've seen going to the left. That's going to be the damaging throw.
Matt Furs did everything he could, but you could see that as Furs and Whitlock jogged back towards the camera, you could see the height difference. Furs giving up what looked like a full head of height to Nicholas Whitlock.
Deep pull.
That is a great pull. Broughton. And now Robertson. Robertson's going to go with a backhand. He's looking all the way down the field to McLaurin. McLaurin's going to work against Peter Ely. McLaurin gets bowled over by Peter Ely.
I reckon there might be a foul call.
I reckon you might be right, Simon Talbot. We'll call you Nostradamus from now on with prophetic calls like that. Predict the future with unerring accuracy. As it looks like Ely is just tracking the same disc. And
Yeah. We're both running at the pitch, we were going to flood. No, I saw you were riding in front.
Yeah.
And then it seemed like you were hit and then tripped.
Yeah.
And that stopped you from being able to proceed forward.
Okay. So uncontested foul?
Yep. Okay.
So Peter really happened to take the view of Noah Midgley, our game advisor on the far sideline there. Offers as a perspective what he sees. It's not a ruling though.
I imagine that Peter Ely wouldn't have known much about what happened there. He's looking upwards and, he's just felt contact and he doesn't know what's happened. Like, did McLaurin stop? Did he create the contact? Like, what happened? And then going to the game advisor, he gets that added perspective to make a good call there, uncontested. Wildcats. Oh, this needs to be a goal for them. Furs.
Got to attack this side.
Still Furs.
Left side.
And he's looking, he's faking, he's pivoting. He finds something eventually. Furs give go. Bouncing it. The Wildcats on the end zone line. It's McLaurin to the inside shoulder.
Another slip.
A miscue. The conditions playing no favourites here. And this could be the break that Ellipsis got early, gave back, or was earned back by the Wildcats. Flavel. And now the undercut. Oh, that's going to be a deep throw. It's going to go the other way now. Peter Ely this time catches that one. And Ely is going to go out in the front of Copeland. Copeland doesn't get there for 4. He's going to make a call.
At full speed first look, I reckon Copeland had that.
Robertson's going to have to argue, make a really good case here.
Just slow down the footage. Oh,
It looks 50-50, which in ultimate.
Yeah. Size the offense. Oh, I reckon.
Maybe not.
Oh.
Gee, I don't know. Let's open a poll.
Oh.
Let's open a poll to.
Yeah, contest is the right outcome. We're not gonna solve this. We can look at it all day. Risky old throw though. Probably more float on it than you need.
Needed to be flatter, really.
Yep.
Ely's going to have another chance at it. We'll see what the disc says. Ely out in front of Andrews. That's a goal. That's the break back. There's still 2 in front. Are Ellipsis in this game.
That play came about because earlier on, back with the first or second throw of the possession, we see Josh Howard there is on the screen. Him and Peter Ely cut in at the same time, or started to move in at the same time, but then paused, briefly looked at each other, and then sort of had that unspoken, all right, I'm in, you're out. And so Howard came in, Peely went out, and defenders couldn't cover both because they'll try to do double coverage again.
Well, this game is currently sitting to the advantage of Ellipsis. The Wildcats have been close. That grab far too close to call for us.
Of course, in the other semi-final, the Sunder off. We've got that even, I think, 5 apiece. No, we're seeing the score change to 6-4, but we don't know which one's ahead.
Well, Sunder leading Sunder.
Guaranteed Sunder club representation in the final, so good on them to have earned that honour once again.
Will it be a rematch of last year, Sunder Ellipsis, or will it be the Wildcats that go through? Mick Norton pulls.
Rematch of 2017 final.
Robertson. Now it's a Broughton. Robertson again. Broughton combines with Dominator movement. And Broughton, a huge bid by Rob Swan.
Not much downfield movement.
Robertson. Broughton this time gets covered by Swan. And then the throw around the edge. Finds Furs.
Getting impatient.
Furs feels the pressure. Panaya is going to fill in, help out in the offense. They're really struggling to find anything down the field. Struggling to get any momentum. McLaurin goes back to Panaya. Robertson. Robertson steps into a flat flick, and that's a pretty good huck. It's a pretty good throw, and it's a pretty good goal. They do it, and it's McAdam who scores.
Pure work rate from the Wellington Wildcats there, just to continually cut, continually move, and just keep bouncing around between the handlers, but behind the disc, as we said early on. I said early on they were getting impatient because not much is happening, but they powered through it and eventually just tired out the Ellipsis defense to the point where they were able to have that clear shot in the end.
It was all that McAdam needed was a step, and Robertson put it on him. So an offensive hold for the Wildcats. They're still down those 2 breaks. Ellipsis.
I don't mind a celebration, Daniel, but on an offensive hold, like, I mean, when you get to the end zone, act like you've been there.
Maybe you're just getting a grump in your old age, Simon.
I am. But, I mean, it's a semi-final. It's those big moments that are going to lift your team, so. And keeps them in contention 6-4. Time for the defensive unit to ramp up.
Sheridan. That one's better. Drives Lofton back into his own end zone.
Whitlock one out.
And the Wildcats go back to this soft zone of theirs. Feeling like this is possibly the better option. Whitlock has found a lane. Gets some meters. Palais.
Watch out in the centre field.
Lofton goes out. To let. Whitlock was in a mile of space but didn't go back to get it. To let. Combining to work that off the sideline. Working the angles. Whitlock. Howden. And Howden puts it out in front. Max Howden, best zone offense player in Australia. Shows them how it's done. That's the 7th for Ellipsis.
I pointed him out in a couple of passes ago because I saw him just sitting in the centre of the field, just biding his time and watching the pattern of the movement of the defenders to work out where his gaps are going to be. So you can see him coming across to the left there and then realise that we had, I think, Damon Prendergast was the one drawing the extra defender away, which opened up the space for him for a clear shot to one of the captains, Rob Andrews.
Ellipsis with potentially a big moment in this game. If they could take half here, sneak out to a 3-break lead, that could be huge.
So we have a timeout call. I'm not sure if the Wildcats are aware of that, or maybe they just take their time walking back to the line regardless. We can see the Ellipsis leadership, the coaches and the captains gathering.
Well, for the Wildcats, does much really change if it is a timeout? They have to hold this.
Yep.
It's an 0 point.
Stick to the plan. But really what they're doing is working, just having to outwork the Ellipsis defenders. It's really on Ellipsis to take the disc off them rather than just having to, Wildcats having to change up what they're doing to defeat the defense. The Ellipsis coaches, Cole Fink and Emma Beresford. As we see that Kookaburra has been an absolute menace the last few days.
He's been doing an excellent job keeping the field clear of worms.
Yep, no snakes to be seen, thanks to him. So, Amy Chang, she managed to get over and have a bit of an eavesdrop in on the Wildcats huddle. What were the key messages out there, Amy?
one key message of radiating positivity from the inside to the out. So making sure that all team members get around their players on field and on the sideline.
Thank you. As we see
Coffees all round for the one of the Ellipsis teams.
Ellipsis Asterix there getting set for their semi-final this afternoon by supporting their club mates, also wearing the green and white.
Their brother team.
Yeah. I think it would have been Ellipsis calling that time out, because just having that, you've got 3 to use for the game, but you can't use more than 2.5. So they're on 7 goals. So why not use one now to really set yourselves up, take half, and give yourselves a 3-goal lead?
It does look like a bit of a power line. Toulette has shifted over to the defence. It's a pretty good ball. Panaya settles underneath it. Panaya decides not to go to Broughton. Wildcats go out of the vertical. Panaya high stall situation. He gets a reset to Robertson. Robertson is going to go with a big backhand. Osman v Hogg. Hogg, Osman. Osman goes early. He drags Hogg with him.
Good play by James Osmond there to get that front position and go early, because as Drew Hogg in with him, he backed himself to have a good go at it, and I think he was always going to beat Hogg in the air as long as he held that front position. If Hogg was able to get that front position, the bigger frame obviously would have just boxed him out. So even though he didn't get a clean hand on it, that's still well earned by Osmond.
Set of shoulders on Tyler Hogg, that's for sure. Toulette picks it up. Huge moment for Ellipsis to take half here and go out 3 breaks. That could be massive. Howard, and for a moment I thought he was going to send it to Peter Ely. Howard decides just to hang on to it for a second. Loughnan gets it back in the middle of the field.
Watch Rob Andrews, top left.
Copeland. Andrews gets free underneath. Howard underneath. He's chipping in. He's having a great game at the moment, is Howard. Ellipsis just having to clear the backfield a little bit and get the offense set. Toulette. Ellipsis using the full width of the field at the moment. The high release flick to Peter Ely. Loughnan is free up the line. He's burnt Broughton a little bit. He's got some space. He has a good look at the end zone. The stall count's on now. Toulette drives hard to the line and then creates a separation going back away from the disc. In the red zone are Ellipsis. Oh, he just nods to the left and then throws the hammer. That's the 3rd break. Ellipsis are up in this one. They take half, 8-5.
Incredible play, incredible defensive play there, but obviously defense is, step one of many steps into earning a defensive break. But the offense there just felt smooth, but it was definitely at a higher pace than a lot of their offensive points. A lot more direct with the throws, a lot more direct with the cutting, and forcing Wildcats to try and cover everything. And of course, you can't cover everything. You've got to give up something.
And in these calm conditions, Tom Toulette, he gives the nod. He says, "Go left, son." Peter Ely obliges and catches the goal to put Ellipsis in ahead at halftime. That is could be a big moment in this game. The Wildcats have to bring it in and talk about it with a 3-goal deficit now to make up. That is a bit of a challenge, a bit of a hill to climb for the boys from New Zealand.
Yeah, and they're the goals you celebrate, those big defensive breaks, especially at critical moments in the game. We're going to head down to Amy Chang now, who's with Ben Powley from Ellipsis.
Thank you, Simon and Daniel. Well, I have Ben Powley here with us from Ellipsis. Ben, your team's just taken half. How do you think the team feels about the first half?
I think the team is joyful, as we saw in the celebrations. I think we came into this game just trusting our legs, trusting our structures, knowing that we just got to match up. They're a good team, they're athletic, and we really stepped up, went into 4th gear. I think we've got more to give. And
you've been giving a lot. This is a team that's been locked away in New Zealand for a couple of years. How's the team found the challenge of playing a team you haven't had a chance to scrimmage against?
We've played against Wildcats a few times, but obviously the couple of year break, they've come back with some younger players. They're immensely talented, they're well drilled, they're immensely athletic. It's always a challenge, but it's always really enjoyable playing against the Wildcats. It just brings a one-on-one battle and really makes you work.
Yeah, great. And finally, you've got a 3-point lead. How are you going to maintain that for the rest of the game?
Just through heart and legs and just the love of each other on this team. We really back each other, we're really going hard. We've got the women on the sideline, so just a really great club to be part of, and everyone just wants to do it for each other. We've got to be the ironing board for each other.
That's a fantastic saying. Well, Ben, thank you so much for your time. Good luck for the second half.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. And Diamond and Simon, back to you.
Well, an extra interesting insight into the mind of Ben Palais. We're going to go to the halftime break, look at some replays, and we'll be back with the second half of this men's semi-final here shortly. Welcome back to the second half as the Wildcats break their huddle. Injury update during the break. Liam Haberfield will join Ellipsis. He's been struggling with a knee injury. He's going to come out here and play a D point. You see him crashing down on the line at the moment on the right-hand side, just doing up the bootlaces.
It's amazing the healing properties of the semi-final berth.
I think only to be seconded by the healing properties of the national final.
Match, yeah. But I mean, after about 3 p.m. tomorrow, it doesn't really matter. You've got a month or two off to recover. So if you can, it's probably a good time. They've got a couple of points up. It's a good. If you're going to wait for an opportunity to test it out, now's the time. See how he goes with this 1 point, and then see if the adrenaline kicks in as the nature's painkiller.
And McNaughton gets us underway for the second half. That lefty style, outside in, Broughton, Robertson. Goes back to the middle of the field, and Broughton. Downey trying to get free. They're struggling down the field. The Ellipsis defense is clamping on.
They've stepped off the mark a little bit and stopped the downfield throws, trying to make them move laterally.
Furs getting a little bit tangled with Robertson. Furs then into space. Oh, that's a dangerous moment there. McLaurin goes up and gets it. The break, Robertson, the away cut. There's two in the area. Panaya's the one who's going to catch the goal. Yeah. Well, Wildcats, they begin their journey for the second half with what they needed to do. The first step was necessary. They needed to hold that 0 point. They do it.
And again, just the work rate of their cutters. Ellipsis were keeping up for probably the first 45 to 50 seconds of continual sprinting, but then just it only takes one of them to get torched. And it becomes evident that, you can't keep it up at all some points, but, heavy old collision there, but a bit of friendly fire.
Hell of a catch by McLaurin. Took a hanger.
Yeah, credit to Peter Ely for pulling right out of that contest. He saw two of them going up, would have been worth having a bit if it was a one-on-one, but he knew if he got himself in there, it's just going to make it, someone would get hurt. Probably not him.
Pile up.
So 8-6 the score, but Ellipsis to receive this pull. So still really a 2 or 3 goal advantage. As we hear the second whistle, meaning that offense need to have their hands up and ready.
Campbell Nauman to pull.
Of course, 60 seconds from the previous goal is when offense need to signal the commencement of the next point.
Oh, Nauman has gotten every piece of that. He drives Max Howden back into his own end zone. The horizontal.
Clean block?
Nope.
No. I thought I'd try and spec it into existence, but no.
No, I don't think that...
Yeah, uncontested.
Ryan Sheridan trying to come across and covering. The reach of Toulette. Lofnan goes back. Oh, that's a massive bid, but Matthews Hunter catches it in front of the bidding Patterson. Lofnan towards the back of his own end zone. Palais to give some width to the offense. Oh, another bid the other way. The Wildcats are beginning to take flight. Matt Hammer's going to hang out there. Andrews catches confidently under the pressure of Van Turnout.
Where's the free? Oh, there it is. Matthews Hunter.
Up high, Matthews Hunter. Toulette. Whitlock goes out. Toulette decides to go to the undercut of Ollie Lofnan. Andrews comes across the field and gets the frisbee. Palais goes in and then away, and Ben Palais is going to catch this one.
Jeez, he did well there.
And they can't catch him. It all becomes clear. I need to point out that he's clearly thought about that ahead of time.
We all need to grow up.
Tom Toulette draws the foul on that backhand. And then the beard.
Credit to Max Howden again. He's just found space in between 3 defenders there and just the composure to secure the catch ahead of a large bid like that. And same with Andrews, had the ground to just go vertical. And Palais managed to pick his time, so it was just pure one-on-one. He didn't have 2 defenders to beat and got to charge out.
That's a big moment.
So what's the score, Daniel? Have we seen the score yet?
Yeah, lifts us on 9.
9-6.
9-6. The Wildcats still 3 breaks down in this game. They really need to start a fight back now before things get too long in the tooth, and this Ellipsis team are just able to trade it out on offense. Furs settles underneath it. Broughton back to Furs. The outcut is there, covered well by Rob Swan. Broughton.
Keep it up, Naya.
Excellent move by Furs to create some width. Robertson, Furs, gives and goes again. The cuts downfield are a little bit static. Furs, who hasn't stopped moving the entire time, goes give-go. Dominator, Rob Swan calls the switch. Robertson decides not to go to Broughton and then breaks the mark all the way to McAdam. Furs. Furs still with the frisbee. Robertson. There's Panaya. Panaya. Robertson goes up the line. Panaya still with the frisbee, high stall. Robertson chipping in. And there it is in the corner. It's Furs who has run what feels like 3 kilometres in a circle.
Just
constant work rate.
I'm in absolute awe of just how much territory he covered that point.
Within 10 metres of the frisbee the entire time.
Behind it, in front of it, to the lateral, to the deep, to the under, and I think they switched off defenders. I mean, I saw one switch, it might have been a second.
It did seem like he went through two different matchups at a point, and it was Matthews Hunter, I think, who ended up on him, trying to bid and get a block.
But this is the kind of intensity that Damon Prendergast there making the bid. Probably one of the better one-on-one defenders out there. Prendergast doesn't get a lot of credit. We don't see the disc in his hands very often or on the mark very often because his players don't get it. The mark of a great defender. But getting the offensive hold is just one part of what Wildcats need to do to get themselves into this game.
Well, it's not enough. You can't hold here and win this game. You're going to need to find a defensive break.
At some point you need to take the disc off the other team. The Ellipsis aren't just going to give it to you. You need to steal it.
Van Turnout pulls. Matthews Hunter gets a little bit caught up there, misreading the disc as it came to the ground.
Ellipsis play 4 behind the disc rather than 3. We'll talk about that soon.
Whitlock with the in and away. The drive. Whitlock resets to Matthews Hunter. Halden, who finds space as he always does. Andrews, Paolé runs the button hook. To let Lofton's going across the field. He's going to call a foul. Crosby doesn't disagree. The hand signal for uncontested immediately.
Yep, clear arm chop.
Bit of a drag. Paolé. Matthews Hunter. Back to Paolé. They're very deep at the moment. Ellipsis creating room around the disc for the handlers to go to work. To let inside to Whitlock, who doesn't stop running. Back to Max Halden. I thought he'd thrown the goal. Halden to let. Oh, and a blade. Well, when there's no wind, you can throw stuff like that.
Yep.
Whitlock fast becoming Tom Tillette's favourite target.
There's a contest between him and Rob Andrews for that title. So, typically what you see in a central or vertical formation, teams will play 2 throwers behind the disc, and a horizontal or horizontal across the field they'll play 3. The Ellipsis play 4 behind the disc, which is innovative. Probably influenced by perhaps Japanese or North American offense, but ultimately it's a game of territory. You need to create space for your runners, and when you've got athletes of the caliber of Nicholas Whitlock, Rob Andrews, Peter Reilly, you want to give them as much space as possible to do their work in, and so pulling an extra player behind the disc for those quick lateral movements just really opens up the territory down the field. So when they're on offense again, keep an eye out for that. They have 4 behind the disc spread across the field. And then keep your eye on whoever they set up in the centre of those 3 that are across. Usually Rob Andrews, but sometimes they might chuck in like a James Osmond or someone else in there, because they're usually the primo target for that point.
Wes Lavelle to pull for Ellipsis. And it's defense again. Broughton. Robertson. Michael Downey getting free. Robertson goes with a flick. That's a pretty good one. It looks real good out of the hands. This is Furs tracks it down.
This is his game today for the Wildcats offense. It's everyone get out of Matt's way. Let him do his thing. And
Lachlan Robertson as well, having a good game, reaching out there with a flat forehand that was perfect in the end.
And Ellipsis look like they're calling a timeout, or they may be just chatting about it. I think they are. But Ellipsis defense don't have an answer for Matt Furs at the moment. That's James Osmond. They've put on him that time. One of the fastest guys out there, I think. But Furs made him look about as quick as me. But at what point do you pull someone like Whitlock or Andrews across from the offense to play on him to get that block? Or is that an omission that you're getting outdone? Because they've got a 3-goal lead at the moment, so it's really all on Wildcats. 2-goal advantage. It's all on Wildcats to win this game. Ellipsis just need to keep putting in these goals to win the game. So there you go. 4 spread across the field, and they've got Andrews in the centre there, just in the hat near the brick mark.
Toulette back in his own end zone. The Wildcats are going to return to this sagging zone that they used early in the game that Ellipsis didn't really have much trouble breaking. Oh, that's going to sit high.
Plenty of voice there, warning of that potential
A sharp bid by Sheridan. Can't get to the Frisbee. Andrews, Lofton, Ellipsis are running. Down the field they go. Max Howden for the goal. So Wildcats, the zone didn't work. Match isn't working. They need to find a turn and a defensive break from somewhere.
Well, the zone does work so long as they don't get overzealous. It was that bid on, I can't see who it was, but that bid on Rob Andrews when he would have known it was coming. As soon as you've overcommitted past the thrower, they just take off. And once Ellipsis have got you outnumbered, and Furs there, you can't cover up the entire end zone, especially when there's 3 options there for Oliver Loughnane to hit. He's just sized up 1, 2, hits the 3rd. And Max Howden, pretty happy with that one.
Not over the top celebration though for his no hold. So
usually throwing goals more so than catching them, but still it's good to let the folks at home know that you're in a good mood.
There does seem to be a lot of positivity around this Ellipsis club, the Ellipsis Opens team.
So we're ticking up to an hour. It's 11-8, so we're still under that sort of 3 minutes per goal threshold once you take out the half break.
McNaughton is over-rotated on this pool. This will be the first brick pool of the game. It's taken us 19 goals to get here.
Looks like they're going to take the brick option.
And it will be Furs.
Put Howard on Furs.
Job for young Josh Howard. Low throw, gathered well by Aldridge. Furs.
Up the circle of death.
Robertson. Outside in. He's going to test Toulette.
Yep.
Aldridge just driving too hard underneath the disc and didn't leave himself enough space to go and catch that.
It seems whoever's getting that front position is always winning that contest, whether it's getting the block themselves or the turnover occurring.
Seemed like Daniel Aldridge just struggled to get a read on that disc and read it very late. So Howard. A nice throw to the middle of the field to Copeland. And now Ellipsis try and break and go fast. Walker. All the way back to Chris Waller. And Waller is going to go with a flick to McNaughton, who, I don't know how he's done it, but he's ended up all alone in the end zone, blown coverage by the Wildcats.
How did he do that? Where was he?
John McNaughton, he's got tricks we've never heard of.
John McNaughton.
That's a terrible pun.
I know. But again, it's that high risk defense there of Wildcats. You've got to go, like Ellipsis aren't just going to make mistakes, so you've got to force them into one. And that probably would have been a result of, providing double coverage from somewhere. But McNaughton's he's the caliber of player. He's got experience playing, all over the world, that he probably would have sitting there biding his time, and the moment his defenders moved away from him, took off. Would have just been standing waiting for that moment, knowing that the way they provide that double coverage, that at some point my defender's going to turn away from me, and
McNaughton, known as a thrower, known internationally as a thrower, and on this team doesn't need to be necessarily.
Doesn't need to be, not allowed to be.
Well, we're not sure. McNaughton ends up catching that goal, and now he's going to pull again.
I mean, when you got throwers like Toulette, Loughnane, Ely, Waller behind the disc. Why not put your smarter and harder working players down the field?
So first, and it is Osmond that is going to pull that match up again. Broughton, oh, nice move to get up the line on Lyon. Copeland can't get it. Robertson is immediately going to look to reset it to Broughton. Furs back in the middle of the field, lets it run a little bit before catching it. Robertson, Furs goes. Constant effort by Furs. Broughton. Robertson gets up the line, and now the reset back to the middle of the field to McLaurin. Broughton out to Furs.
Structure looking a lot looser now.
Robertson, the Wildcats, happy to go to work. And Furs is starting to crack Osmond. Osmond's really sucking him in at the moment. He's struggling to keep up with the constant effort of Furs. Furs goes again hard to the line. Osmond Beards can't get there. Furs, he's absolutely ground James Osmond into the turf. And he's scored that one. They're both gassed. Both men are absolutely blowing.
Not often you see Ellipsis get outworked. We're seeing it, and yeah, I think timeout has been called now.
Nothing fancy by Matt Furs.
Yeah.
Just work rate, and has outworked a Quidditch world champion, James Osmond.
Outwork, obtain disc. He's just playing basic ultimate, just doing it better. And so, tactical timeout call here by Ellipsis. It would have been a particular time of the game they would have been looking to call that, so coming up to 65 minutes. And Cole Fink, their coach, his strength as a coach is really just that that mental energy and focus, so more than tactics and skills. He's got, you know, the caliber of players to really just let them take that themselves, but he keeps them all united, focused on task. So he'll just be talking now, just, I guess, hit another sort of reset button, keep the energy up, and just let's get out there, treat it as a game to 3. So rather than saying we're 12 searching for 15, we're 0, let's put 3 on the board and book ourselves a sleep in tomorrow morning. Amy Chang, you are down listening into the Wildcats huddle.
That's right, Simon. Nothing new from a message perspective from their last huddle, their coach and their leadership team, just wanting to inject some more energy into the team.
I'm not sure how much more energy there is to give. The semi-final, 12-9. They're adrift by 4 breaks at this stage. If there is anything left in the tank, it needs to come now.
Has to happen now.
Ellipsis, they can trade this home from here. Van Turnout, signals ready, disc in the air. Gillette's going to catch this. Lofton.
Split stack this time.
Lofton, who'd played so well last season, has just continued to go from strength to strength as the young man. Gillette finds Whitlock. Andrews.
Defense getting a lot tighter. They're not trying to generate this double coverage anymore.
Behale. Gillette. Out to Andrews. Lofton. Ellipsis using the full width of the field. Looking for that angle and that throwing lane to advance the disc down the field. Gillette. Now to Matthews Hunter. Everyone's touched the disc so far apart from Max Howden. Rob Andrews. Gillette drives in, goes away to create the separation, get the reset, keep the stall count low, keep Ellipsis playing offense. Lofton breaks all the way out to Ben Palais. Whitlock goes hard. He's covered well. Lofton goes up the line. Palais is going to shoot it past him. That's a turnover.
Wildcats were just too well covered up that corner.
And immediately he's going to go. He's going to reach all the way down the field. That's an excellent catch up high. Andrews coming late. Can't get over Patterson. And Patterson's going to come out to the near side to Clark. Clark on the end zone line. Oh, there it is. It's just a short, simple one to Rory Hammond for the goal. The first break in what feels like forever for the Wildcats.
And it was a slip in, just a minor slip in discipline by Ellipsis at that top at the end zone. You wouldn't see them often go into that corner into a 3-on-1. Probably could have afforded to bounce it a couple more times back towards this near side, but Wildcats, they were given a couple of opportunities early in the game but didn't capitalise, but they knew that anything they got from now on had to be treasured. That long shot was definitely on, but you saw every player absolutely take their time for every throw after that.
Rory Hammond putting up an absolute dime for Charles Patterson. And then Hammond, who started the move with the big huck, is the one who caps it.
Tony Clark had a lot going past him, but good just to sort of look and size up and wait for a certainty rather than try and move it quickly. 10-12 the score now. So we said they needed it, Daniel. They got it. But one's not enough. They need to keep at it.
They can't stop here.
But they've showed it's possible. They've told themselves it's possible.
Nauman. The nice looking lefty Paul. Tillett. To Lofgren. Andrews. Furs playing both ways. Whitlock. Oh, Whitlock's going to go to Tom Tillett, who has somehow drifted all the way down into the end zone. Well, that's interesting. He sent Ryan Sheridan for a pie, has Tom Tillett. And then ended up in the end zone catching the goal as Nick Whitlock throws that some 55 yards.
It's a move I would have thought would have come maybe a goal later from Tillett, but he, late in games, he likes to just go for a long cut because you can see his defender there was absolutely certain he was going towards the disc and just...
Well, Sheridan has stopped running.
Yep.
He hasn't respected Nicholas Whitlock at all, and Whitlock has said, well, you're going to regret that, young man.
Yep. Until it just kept going, like, don't... It was a late old throw, like it could have very well just been Tullett just going for a run up to Salamander Plaza and back, but fantastic throw. Got a good, just about 50-metre throw, I reckon.
Flat as well, so it got there to Tullett quickly.
Yep.
Not giving any help defence from the Wildcats any opportunity to get there.
So now that's another thing they've got to look for. If Tullett drifts deep again, he might try and sneak one more in. I wouldn't see him probably stay behind the disc from now on, as per. But the defensive unit is on now to try and...
The Wildcats really need to hold this. They cannot give up another break now. They really don't have much room for error. Aldridge to Robertson, who hasn't done much wrong today. First slips, it doesn't matter. He catches it.
Got to hit that high side. There we go.
All the way out to Aldridge. And there's McAdam. Oh, Furs isn't going to get it. Howard gives it the punch. That's a turnover, and this could be a backbreaker for the hopes of the Wildcats if they want to go to a final. I hear the sounds of coffins, nails, and hammers. Waller will pick it up. He gestures for Peter Ely to get out of the way. John McNaughton now to Ely. McNaughton. Waller. And here's Haberfield. Howard. Howard's going to go to Peter Ely. And Peter Ely's going to have to do a bit. It drops out of the sky. And there it is, Prendergast. That's a huge moment. A massive moment in this game. The Wildcats, just when they could least afford a offensive miscue, it happens. Ellipsis take their 14th.
And of course, the Ellipsis players really getting around Josh Howard now. Just the opportune insertion of the hand there. Just keeping half an eye, using his peripheral vision to sort of keep an eye out on the thrower and his marker, and then saw the throw about to come out and just got low, got his hand in.
And full credit to him. The deep throw to Peter Ely really wasn't on. He didn't really throw it too well. And, well, sometimes you make your own luck in Ultimate.
And so now, game point for Ellipsis to make their second consecutive final, to hopefully make it a second consecutive championship. Wildcats keep scoring to keep alive.
The equation's real simple now. Wildcats need 5, Ellipsis need 1.
I was going to say that Kookaburra's back, Daniel.
Better move, because there is a bunch of men running around at a great rate of knots. Broughton, Robertson. Comes underneath to McLaurin. Robertson. McAdam.
No risks now, boys, no risks.
Aldridge. Robertson gets the short reset. Broughton. The offense starting to click a little bit smoother. McAdam. Broughton. Robertson. There's no continuation down the field.
Watch Panaya.
McAdam is really carrying the offense. He's the one really generating that downfield movement at the moment.
21.
Robertson. And now guess who? It's Matt Furs popping up.
Panaya just in the center of the end zone there, just to the front.
McAdam. Furs goes across the face, and then the throw to space to Daniel Aldridge for the score. Wildcats get their 11th. They're still in this. Ellipsis, they only need one more. They're going to go on offense.
Looks like they're just going to put their regular offensive line out. No need to go all out to win this game. Trust what's got you 14 goals so far.
Well, they're going to have a minimum of 3 goes at this before a next point wins situation, a universe point situation.
Of course, the difference between getting this late in the game in pool play is you can start to go, right, well, we can, maybe this game's gone. We can look to try and take a bit of energy into the next one. But bracket games, you don't have that luxury. It's the last game of the day for both these teams. Second last game of the tournament, of the season for both these teams, of the domestic season anyway. So you really just have to go all out. Well, you'll probably see, don't be surprised to see a couple more sort of not stray bids, but like more intense sort of bids that plays at the disc here from Wildcats. But conversely, watch for Ellipsis to capitalise on any overbids.
It's all on the line now.
Probably a bit of a stalemate early in the point, in that both teams will be waiting for the other one to make that small error.
Tillett lets it bounce, gathers it. Lofton in the middle of the field. Andrews.
Drags Furs out of that deep space. Smart move.
That's a low throw. Tillett has to bid and get low to catch that. Whitlock under heavy pressure. And Whitlock is going to do what he's done all day. He's going to send it. He's going to FedEx it. Lofton goes high. A bidding Halden can't get there. There's going to be a little bit of a discussion between Tiny Clark
Retracted.
and Ollie Lofton. There is no call.
It's the first contest we've seen today where the front person hasn't won it. Like the player with that front position has not won that contest through either the catch, the call, or the turn.
Wildcats need to convert this. They've gotten the opportunity that they wanted.
Can't take risks, just outwork them. It's worked for 11 goals. Stick with it.
Sheridan breathing hard. Gets the disc, brings it to the line out of the vertical. Go the Wellington Wildcats.
Keep your eyes on Patterson, bottom left of screen. He's the one looking fresh.
Sheridan's going to say, I've had enough of this. He's going to send it back the other way to Patterson.
Oh! Did everything right position-wise. Kept locked and out of it, just so he had a fresh go at it, but one step too far in the end.
Gillette's going to come all the way back. Sheridan, he's got an interesting backhand. It seems to turn and make a right break quite late in the throw.
Paolé bottom centre of screen. He'll have to drag first out of that deep space.
Halden, high stall. He's just going to loop it. This is trouble. Lofnan, against the hard charging and beating Patterson. Paolé. Back to the middle of the field to Matthews Hunter. Toulette. Andrews finding a bit of space. Toulette is going to go all the way across to Paolé. Furs with ice skates on by the looks of it as he slid in on the mark. Whitlock. He breaks it. Halden. Andrews. Paolé goes out to clear the space underneath for Matthews Hunter. Matthews Hunter goes into the middle. Yeah, they've done it. Ellipsis are going back-to-back finals. They win this game over the Wellington Wildcats, 15-11 in the end.
And this is probably the biggest, not the biggest scare they've had closer games, but this is probably their best head-to-head matchup to date. We saw for about the first maybe 70 minutes of the game, it was still in the balance. Still really could have gone either way, but just the class of the Ellipsis offense in the end just outdid them. The pace of the game that the Wildcats took it to, they were able to outwork at many points, but is that sustainable for 100 minutes? We just nearly got to 80. I reckon we would have seen a significant drop-off in pace and intensity had they even got to that point. So Ellipsis will, I'm not going to say completely in control, but definitely had the ascendancy for most of that game and have really earned this place in the final. It hasn't just been an easy run for them. They've had to do the work to get there.
Not at all. The Wildcats, not a low hurdle to step over to get into the final. They really had to earn that. And really do turn into a good performance here. I think we're going to head down to Amy Chang, who has managed to tackle Nicholas Whitlock, the intruder from New Zealand.
Absolutely. Thank you, Daniel. I've got Nick Whitlock here. Nick, congratulations on your win. That's a big win. You're now in back-to-back finals. How does it feel?
It's pretty good, pretty good. Really awesome to be out here with the Ellipsis boys and playing.
Yeah, fantastic. And we know that you've been picked up actually from the very team you played against. You played Wildcats the last season and you actually helped them win the New Zealand Grand Final Ultimate Championship, which was a month ago. How's it felt to be playing against your old team?
It's a bit weird, for sure. They know how I play, I know how they play. So it's really cool to be out here and learn from the Ellipsis boys and see how to mix up that and really play around, yeah.
Yeah, good. And finally, what's the strategy going into the grand final?
Just play hard, work hard, trust everyone on the field, and just win.
That's a good strategy. Win, hopefully. Well, Nick, thank you for your time. Good luck.
Thank you, Amy.
Thanks. And back to you, Simon and Daniel.
Well, Nick Whitlock there is a talent out of New Zealand. You should keep your eyes on him. He's the Kiwi Gak. He is going to be a threat for many years to come for the various New Zealand teams. Ellipsis, I think that's a bit of a coup to manage to convince him to come over and play for Ellipsis for the World Club Championships. Simon, any closing thoughts before we wrap this one up?
I think that wherever we end up with the men's final tomorrow is going to be an absolute belter, having seen what the top four teams are capable of and how well they match up against each other. I'm really looking forward to the men's grand final, the Open Grand Final tomorrow that will take place at 11 a.m. So about 21 hours from now for international viewers. And next up on the KO Freebies is the women's semi-final, providing, again, similar, Ellipsis versus New Zealand, the Blueberries. So it looks to be also a cracking matchup, so we can hope you can stick around for that. That's going to be taking place in about 35 minutes.
Well, don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back very shortly with that game.
Moshe Beats.